At the Port Authority.
Good evening and welcome to the Mount Olive Township Council meeting for January 12, 2016. So we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for the men and women who serve.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Michelle, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda.
Here.
Mr. Ferrante. Mrs. Laybow. Mr. Mania. Mr. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Roman.
Here.
Mr. Nacastro.
Here. The presentation of certificate is being continued to the next meeting, which is January 26th, I believe. We have 7 resolutions. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, anything on resolutions? Seeing none, any old business? Seeing none, any new business? Mr. Roman?
Laura, have we made any progress in trying to negotiate with Morris County regarding that park off of Drakesdale Road? I know it's had been mentioned a few months ago.
You're talking about the parcel of land that would connect into Drakesbrook Park?
Yeah.
Have you had any, we haven't looked at it, but she'll get back to you at the next meeting about that.
Yeah, because I mean, from what I understand, this is though that Morris County is at least open to the idea of at least going into a long-term lease for very little money. So even if we don't have immediate plans, I think we should at least lock it down. And my thinking is more in case we end up losing the Bud Lake School baseball field or have any other desire to create a park for any other sports organization. But at least if we can lock that piece of parcel down, I think that would be a good idea.
Thank you. Any other new business? I'm going to bring, well, it's really old business I should have brought up. I had sent an email to Laura, but I just want to clarify a few things. Ralph had reached out to me about the one of the sports teams. Wanted to know about the fingerprinting policy and all, which I know we passed last year. Do we have a policy in place? Do they have something that they've got in the organization to know what to do? Because he asked me again tonight, and I said I would get clarification of what has to be done for them.
Yeah, I did have some communications with Jill, and she said that she had given them all notification and information on what the requirements were. So
Okay.
she's gonna get that information to me and.
Okay, I'll tell Ralph to reach out to her, to the rec department. That's where it comes from, right? Okay.
Everything should be in place.
Right, so
In terms
just
of
tell,
the
she should.
funding, in terms of the mechanism to have it done.
Okay, so it's up, Jill will administer all of that, so I'll tell him to reach out to the rec department. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Opposed, okay. All right, I'll open up the Mount Olive Council meeting for the public meeting for January 12, 2016. Michelle, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda.
Here.
Mr. Ferrante. Mrs. Laybow. Mr. Mania. Mr. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Roman.
Here.
Mr. Nacastro.
Here. We have 19 pieces of correspondence. Does anyone have anything on the correspondence? Seeing none, okay. Oh, where were they? I'm sorry, I passed that up. Okay, it was there. See that? Sorry about that, I got to backtrack. Mr. Amianda, would you move the approval of minutes for the previous meetings for December 22nd,
Your first mistake of 2016.
2015?
Gets out of the way early.
Your first mistake of 2016.
Yes, Mr. President. I make a motion for approval of the minutes of the previous meetings on December 22nd, 2015.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? None, roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Mr. Roman.
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro.
Yes. Okay, let's see. We open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 1-2016, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Mount Olive to adjust water rates within the township for service rendered on or after the second quarter of 2016. Mr. Roman?
Yeah, I move for adoption and final passage of ordinance number 1-2016.
Second.
Any discussion?
It's optional.
It's optional, okay. Seeing none, anyone from the public? Seeing none, close to the public. Okay, ordinance number 1-2016 is passed on second reading, and I hereby direct the clerk to forward a copy of the same to the mayor and publish the notice as adoption as required by law.
Do you need a roll call?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. We have 7 consent resolutions. Mr. Stewart, would you move the resolutions?
I move,
7.
number 7?
Consent resolution.
I move, where am I?
You're right there. 1 through 7. Consent resolution.
Okay. I move for adoption and final passage resolutions,
Just consent resolutions 1 through 7.
consent resolutions 1 through 7.
Second.
Anyone from the public? Seeing none, close to the public. Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Mr. Stewart, would you move the bill list, please?
I'll fumble around on this one too. I move for acceptance and final resolution, the bill list.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Administrative reports.
Couple things real quick. Following up on Alex's concern over the Bud Lake Field, I did have discussions today with the Board of Education with respect to the sale of the old administration building on Route 46. They currently have a number of different parties that are interested in the building. And I think that the leading party actually right now, assuming that they can get approval from the planning board, would be some type of group home for disabled individuals of some form or another. And I'm not really clear as to what the disabilities might be, whether they are mental or physical. But I would assume that if that were the case, that probably would mean that we would be able to somehow manage to keep that field viable.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Would a facility of that nature help us in our co-obligations any way whatsoever?
I doubt it, but it certainly would bring that building back on as a taxable entity, as a for-profit home, as compared to other uses of that building, both past and other groups that are considering purchasing that building where it would remain off the tax rolls.
It actually brings me to another point. If the Board of Ed is currently not using it,
It's still their property,
it's still their property, so it's still not taxable?
not taxable.
Okay.
By now, you all should have received my budget for 2016. Sherry's going to go through it more in depth on the meeting on the 26th in advance of the council budget hearings on the 30th. From my perspective, obviously, there is a 0 increase for the residents of Mount Olive for the 3rd year running, which I think is a testament to the jobs that all of us do up here in terms of our fiscal responsibilities, in terms of how we spend money. Our debt is low and going lower. There are some concerns, however, going into 2017. We are very fortunate to have Sherry, who is able to look out, a year or two in advance of where we are, to look at concerns which may arise in 2017. And I can tell you that one of the major concerns that we're going to see involves the health benefits which we provide to our employees. We are going to see the sunset of Chapter 78 contributions, which ultimately could result in a $700,000 to $800,000 hit to the township going forward, which obviously we can deal with. The question is, do we need to ultimately have a tax increase down the road, or do we save for a rainy day, knowing what ultimately may come? It's going to raise a number of different issues in 2016. One of them is going to be, are we going to be looking to switch health, the way that we provide health insurance, so that we can mitigate any kind of hit that we're going to see through the sunset of Chapter 78 contributions. It also impacts our 2016 budget in that we have looked at that issue and we have made an attempt to maintain as much surplus as we can going into 2016. We were very fortunate this year in terms of ratables, which we were able to bring online, but that's a one-time hit. So I'm very comfortable with where we are for 2016. I'm comfortable with where we're going to end up in 2017, and we need to start thinking about 2018 as we move forward. So Sherry will go much more in depth on the 26th in terms of what the budget looks like. I think that I have accommodated the needs of the township. As I've indicated in my State of the Township address, there is no new recreational expenditure this year as we've done in past years. This year, any money that I put into the budget beyond the needs of the departments really relates to road repaving, which obviously all of us who live in town know that there is a need for that. It's something that we have neglected over the past couple of years. We've kind of tried to tread water. Now it's time that we need to actually put some money into it. This year, maybe next year as well. So I'm very happy with the budget. I think the departments can work with what they have. I think that you're likely to see a request from the rescue and fire departments in terms of the fact that I kept them flat this year for the most part. I think there was one small bump based upon a particular situation that I gave to one of the departments. I don't know that we could really do any better than keeping flat and being in a good position for 2017. And I think if everything falls right, we could be good for 18, 19, 20 as well, just depending upon some of the things that we've had in the works actually coming to fruition.
Mr. Rowan?
Will we get Sherry's PowerPoint prior to the meeting?
I don't normally hand it out, Alex, but if you want it, of course, yeah.
Well,
I can give it to you.
electronically.
Yeah, sure.
At least a couple days so we can,
Yeah, not a problem. I'll have it, how about on Friday?
That's fine.
With the packets, does that work?
appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Anything else on administration?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Any old business? Any new business? And we have Dawn Sullivan with us. How you doing, Dawn? Any legal matters?
I just wanted to update you on a report that Fred Semero gave at the last meeting regarding the cobblestone. The well testing has been arranged on the backup well, and that's scheduled to take place on January 18th. So that's moving forward, and hopefully everything will be found to be acceptable, and there won't be any issues with that. And we'll update you as soon as we get the results of that.
Mayor?
Yeah, there was one other issue which I raised that is of legal importance. I think right now we have an ordinance on the books in Mount Olive which requires us, when we sell municipal property, that the money goes back into open space. In light of what I hope will happen down the road in terms of the 57 acres, I've asked that the ordinance be modified, and I'm asking you guys to support it, that will allow the money to go back into the general fund, which is where the money came from to purchase the property, with the intent that the municipality would see some kind of economic gain out of our investment.
Alex?
Are you looking for a, like a one-time ordinance for that particular?
No.
Going forward?
At this point, with the municipality being in 80% in the Highlands, and all of the open space purchases that we have done over the years, I would like to have the ordinance reflect that it is at council's discretion as to where the monies that we ultimately recuperate from the sale of property is to be allocated to open space, to the general fund, whatever the case may be, and leave it at council's option to do that. With regard to this particular piece of property, which is the impetus for my modification, and I don't know that it's ultimately gonna sell, I'm hoping that it does. It's really, it would be, in my mind, not what the intent was at the time that we purchased the property. And the intent really was to come to some kind of economic gain through our investment in the purchase of the property.
Because the way I'm kind of right now thinking about it is modifying the ordinance that each time a sale does happen, that council has to approve a resolution directing which way the funds would go. That way it'll give a future council the ability to, decide where each particular,
That's
so
what I'm,
that's what I'm kind of more envisioning.
that's what I'm asking for as well.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Not a problem, Mayor.
Thank you.
Anything else? Council reports. Mr. Amianda, anything on the Board of Ed?
No report.
Mr. Ferrante's not here. Anything at Senior Citizen?
No report.
Mr. Stewart, anything on MOTV?
Yes, I have to give kudos to Lisa Brett for a recommendation to explore some options through the Mount Olive Area Chamber of Commerce to help jumpstart the MOTV project.
Very good. Mr. Roman, anything on open space or rec?
Nothing on open space, and recreation meets at the end of the month.
Thank you. Board of Health, there is no meeting in January. We meet again the third Wednesday of February. And Mr. Maney is not here. Does anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, closed to the public. Any council comments? Mr. Amianda?
Yeah, good news for job well done. On December 30th, it was in the news that Mount Olive Township received a recycling tonnage grant of $36,000 from the New Jersey Department of Environment Protection. I think the mayor has that information because it was in the press. So that's a compliment for a job well done for the district.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Mr. Stewart, anything?
No,
Mr. Roman?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing from me. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Closed.